What is going on, everybody? This is Great Scots. This is Grand Tactician Civil War. So this is the battle that I kind of thought was going to happen at the end of the previous video. Uh, and it is a lot of them and a few of us, although we just got some reinforcements. Uh, but anyways, there was a big push through the center. They pushed off my skirmishers. You can see that we are on the Manassas map. So we have Beauregard here in the center holding the stone bridge. I now see that there is this group that has just arrived off to my far right. I don't know. I don't know exactly what to say. I mean, the tail of the tape. I think in the end we should be outnumbered 2-1. I guess they're supposed to have about 136,000. We're supposed to have about 71,000. You can see we just have an astronomical artillery advantage because of my preference for a good deal of artillery, and it seems like the AI's propensity to not take artillery at all. And we just got some reinforcements, so that is good news. I think I'm going to put Magruder on the right, kind of overlooking, I guess, what is not like that. Not like that either. I have not really messed around with the order of battles, and I now know why I need to. As I found with Beauregard, I have Davis as a divisional commander, but I don't have anything else. So Beauregard also has to kind of direct half the army, and that's just not that great. I suspect almost certainly we're going to get pushed off on the far right. I don't know if that's I mean, it's not great, but even if they push us off, they then have to come all the way around and hit us on the right. I did initially have a much stronger force over here. This is kind of the people directly under Beauregard. And I think I can still move them off. Now that artillery is pretty much the left side here. This is Davis's artillery on the right. And I'm kind of just watching how they move. It looks like they are going to go with a push to the left. So I'm inclined to move some artillery to meet them. Yeah, and I think it's probably just going to be the artillery that's under Beauregard. Even if it is, I think it's only 2 brigades. Still, it should be enough of a concern that it warrants some sort of check. And Beauregard's not that far away. The lines of communication seem to be pretty good, so I'm okay with this move. But Davis has kind of half of his artillery here, and then the other 2, these are, I think, 10-pounder and 3-inch. Yeah, and so they're covering the right. Looks like the AI might be thinking about pushing up together. That would be good for them. Very good for them. And I'm thinking about pulling my skirmishers back, not all the way. And now it looks like they're pulling their skirmishers back as well. But I was going to pull them back on the reverse of this stream, maybe the reverse of this stream, and that would allow time for the artillery to get into place. Probably shift at least some infantry over there. I don't want to shift too much because I suspect their big push is still going to come through the center. Yeah, and since I haven't seen anything else kind of going on over here other than this skirmishing standoff, I wonder if that means it's because that other group that was kind of big group that was lined up like this, I wonder if they pushed just right down the Warrington Turnpike and if they're all going to come through the center. Yeah, so that's where that is. I think because we're still in the skirmishing phase, there's not a lot of shooting. I have some skirmishers out. I think these are Cobb skirmishers trying to capture Victory Point here, but there's not too much else going on. I know that in other versions the Union loved, or the AI I should say, just loved to come down this northern route along the unfinished railroad. I never really understood it because it dumps you in Sudley Springs, which is just... So if you're not familiar with the game or the battlefield or that, I mean, this is Sudley Springs. Why you would want to march into this with all this high ground surrounding it, I don't know, but the AI well, not historically, but in this game historically, has enjoyed doing that. So that's where we are. I'll bring it back if there's something I think worth checking out. Well, folks, we are at full strength. If nothing else, it looks like everybody who's going to arrive for the two sides have in fact arrived. And now it's just a matter of whether the AI is going to attack. It says major victory. It's quite deceiving because there's been very little fighting, even though there are 200,000 men on the field. There have been just under 1,000 casualties. Again, the artillery advantage I have is just absolutely nuts. Part of that is me, and part of that is the AI. So, anyways, that's where things stand. It appears they aren't going to push the right. There is still a huge force up on the left. I got to thinking, when else am I going to have this kind of an advantage? And I thought maybe if I pulled back some of the skirmishers who were up here, that would entice the AI to come forward, and then we could draw them into what I believe is a pretty strong position here. So I don't know how that's going to work out for me, and I don't know that the AI is necessarily going to take the bait, but that's the idea at least. Man, some of these guys have still not gone where they're supposed to, but that's life. And the artillery, so as large an advantage as it does appear, and it does appear to be a significant one because it is, there's actually a lot of artillery that's not in a great position. I think mostly because I just don't have room for it. I mean, on this ridge overlooking the stone bridge, still where I think that the major thrust is going to come, it's pretty much all spoken for. And I'm in a little bit of a quandary. If I want to put infantry in front of the artillery, it may keep the artillery from firing, but if they're too far behind, then they can't move up to meet any other infantry who might get pressed their way. So that's a bit of a conundrum I'm working through, but I think I'd rather just have the artillery do its thing, and we'll go from there. It kind of almost looks like maybe they're thinking about pressing for Lewis Ford. So I had Johnson holding the left. Well, so these are mostly Johnston's forces over here. Can't you guys sit on that? Because we have almost all the victory points now. Because there is that big force over there. They're still there. And I wanted to have a force that was ready to meet them. But if they attack in echelon, which may not actually be an echelon, but that's just what I say, when you don't all attack at once, it allows the defender to kind of concentrate their defenses and fight you piecemeal, which is not what you want to be doing if you're the attacker, with a numbers advantage but an artillery and terrain disadvantage. And so I think that this was our kind of advantage from the start. And yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens from here. As you can see, this whole ridge is pretty much covered, as much as artillery as I can get. That's not really the shooting the Napoleons want to be doing. They're kind of in an optimal spot, and the 6-pound field guns, I think their optimal spot is to just wait till they cross the bridge. But they got a lot of ammo, so it's all right. I think I need to slow it down, partly for the CPU's sake. I know that a lot of smoke gets, a lot of smoke gets kicked up. Where was I moving you guys to? Had to be somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, I think there was a misclick before in setting up this group over here. Still kind of looks that way. But there's a real possibility we might have to defend not just the Lewis Ford. I don't know about the Island Ford, but what is that, Balls Ford? And I guess that task has fallen to Magruder. For fans of The Office, I'm always thinking MacGruber every time I see it, and I've said it in my head, and I don't think I've said it out loud yet, but it's probably just a matter of time. Alright. Yeah, I mean, if this is how they're going to attack, they're definitely going to lose. They need, to have any chance, I think they needed to hit all together, unless we just do random, like, route, or not random, but just horrific routing, in which case then we'll be in big trouble, yeah. And again, we want the infantry close by, but not in the way. Does that prod them to... Well, I'm not prodding them to move, I'm just kind of waiting for them to do something here. Either get off the battlefield or attack. Oh, you know, I didn't know. I took him off the railroad. I guess I should look at the right to confirm that there's nothing going on. That's how it looks. Man, I cannot get Hood's guys to actually sit on this thing enough to capture it for whatever reason. No surprise they knocked off some of those skirmishers. quite in range of those Napoleons, and certainly not in their optimal range. Alright, so these guys... I guess they are overshooting the artillery in front of them. That's handy. Oh, whoops. I never even saw them. I turned away for a moment. Let's see if we can get these guys there doing their thing. Let's see, are they actually... Yeah, I guess they... Well, the ridge is still kind of in front of them. I wonder... Are they teeing off on? Who are they teeing off on? It's not the greatest of shots for a 6-man. Okay, at least one group over at the left, but yeah, I've kind of left the artillery on its own. It's just something I wouldn't say I'm trying it in the sense that I've never done it before, but I kind of thought that they would hold up a little better. But there's no need for everybody to fire at him, because a lot more where that came from, with respect to the Union side. But they do have this path cleared to the stone bridge if they want to take it. Cobb skirmishers have done their thing. A little surprised. I don't know who those guys are. I don't know why they broke. I don't think they were getting charged. But yeah, this is the one thing I'm concerned about. I'm still somewhat convinced that the AI does have morale advantages that just the rest of the army doesn't have, because if you ever try running these guys into an artillery unit like this, you're just going to